Let's hope everything is holding up. You should be able to see my screen now. Chat is ready to display messages. Alright, cool. Today's going to be a little bit different. We're not going to be playing a game. We're going to be talking about something called video game subscription services. I have the news page open right here, and you can see currently Apple is dominating the news because it most recently announced a video game subscription service called Apple Arcade. It's going to be launched sometime this year. And just shortly before that, Google announced that they're going to be having their own video game subscription service called Stadia, which is kind of a bit of a unique, but then again, not so unique twist onto video game subscription services where you're not actually downloading a game to your computer. You will be streaming a game live, like it's like you're watching the game in your browser, but then again, you have a controller in your hand, and we'll be playing it using Chrome. So the game's basically rendered not on your computer or on your PlayStation or whatever gaming system you have, but there's a computer somewhere at Google. They will render it for you, and you'll just send it basically controller commands, like what's the controller supposed to do. And then Origin has its own subscription service, so to say. It's not what I meant to do. Where you can subscribe to games. What's his name? Origin Access, with different levels where you can get access for a monthly subscription to the different games that Origin has to offer. Sony has PlayStation Plus. Go away. Not what we want to do today. Here we go. No, is it PlayStation Plus or PlayStation Now? Either way, they have their own subscription service for a monthly fee. Microsoft announced that they're going to have some service that's going to be out real soon, where you can subscribe to Game Pass on the Nintendo Switch, something like that, where you can actually play Microsoft games. Like you would theoretically be able to play Halo at some point on the Nintendo Switch, if that's what you want to do. I guess it's kind of crazy thinking about Halo running on the Switch. Basically, every major video gaming provider, I don't think Steam has anything, or Valve has anything in the pipes yet, or not even rumored about video game subscription services. Anyways, all of them work basically the same way, where you subscribe to them and you'll pay a monthly fee and you get access to a bigger or smaller catalog of games provided to you as long as you keep paying the monthly bill. Some of these services have added benefits. With Origin Access, you get certain perks or additional unlocks in the games. For example, in Apex Legends, you get like a couple of coins with every month that you pay for that service. Yada yada. So these services are mostly the same, but then again, all of them try to get a unique twist on the concept of video game subscription services, I guess. And I wanted to chat about, is that something that a gamer is actually interested in? I consider myself video gaming a lot, have been, still do. I think I own almost every major video game console since the release of the Nintendo Entertainment System. But I've never subscribed to any of those video game subscription services. I don't know if I'm the target audience for that. I consider myself a hardcore gamer, if that's the correct term to use. I have a vast Steam library on my PC, currently play on a PlayStation 4, I have a Switch, I have a 3DS. I play on my phone while I commute. So play video games quite a lot, actually. Well, yeah, but I don't think I will find enough time that it will be warranted for me to subscribe to a video game service. Um, First of all, my video game library over the years has quite grown quite a bit, so to say. There's like, I think I have like about 500 games at least in Steam and whatnot, and then we have Epic and Origin, and Ubisoft everybody has their own gaming catalog and download platform. I think I even have games on Amazon, if I recall correctly. Like Amazon selling like digital keys that you can import in Steam or download using their platform or whatever. Yeah, at some point, really, I like. Anyways, let's look up Google Stadia because that's one of the most interesting ones. All of the other ones really work mostly the same way. Google Stadia is trying to do a bit of a different thing, and that I initially already alluded to it. You will not buy a gaming console, like you will not buy a Switch, or you will not buy a PlayStation 4, or you will not buy a 3DS, or whatever console physical box that you plug into your TV. You'll play basically anywhere where you have a Chrome browser available to you. So that could be like the Chromecast on your TV, that could be your laptop, that could be your PC, any device really. It could even be a mobile phone. And you'll buy a controller with that, with a subscription. I don't think they have a picture of that controller here. Let's see if we find that. And basically, the controller makes sure that you have all of the controller functions. Like this is a render of the controller right here. It looks like your standard run-of-the-mill game controller with 2 analog sticks, the 4 buttons on the right side, the D-pad on the left side, some extra functionality for Google, where you, like this button, you can call in the Google Assistant, I think. This is the Stadia button where you can change like basically which device you want to be broadcasting to. And this is a picture from their conference where you have your laptop, you have a TV, you have a tablet, you have a phone, you have a PC, and you can play basically the same game on all of these devices because all of them are running Chrome in one way or another. And with this service, the interesting part about this is you're not really downloading the game to your computer and you're running it. You'll just tell Google that you want to play the game. You're subscribed to the service anyway, so all of the games they have available are available to you. But then the game's running somewhere on Google servers, and they're streamed just the video output so that you can see that on whatever device you're running on. Say you're running it on your mobile. And interesting thing about it is that obviously now you don't need to buy like a $500 or $400 PlayStation or whatever the next generation of console is going to cost you. You just take your laptop or phone or whatever you already have available. I guess you need the cost of this controller for every player that you want to play. Like if you want to do multiplayer, you have to get multiple controllers. And they didn't announce like how much the controller is, but I can't imagine it being very much compared to the actual cost of a console. But then again, you'll pay this monthly service, and the one thing that I am mostly worried about with this is, and I've been actually testing the Assassin's Creed Odyssey beta that they did last year, where you would be able to basically test Stadia before you would know that it's called Stadia. You would basically test this video streaming services on a laptop or any device really you run Chrome on, and you would control it with any controller that you have hooked up to it. And it was quite nice, but I don't know if Assassin's Creed Odyssey is really the best game to test a service like that. It is fast-paced, yes, but I don't think this service is ready for, let's say, highly competitive games like Counter-Strike or Apex Legends or whatever, like where your internet connection vastly adds to your, let's say, overall gaming performance. Like if you have a slower connection, obviously you'll be lagging a lot and your gaming fidelity will not be as good as somebody with a stable high-speed connection. If you do have a high-speed connection, the video stream has to get to you. Like a majority of the video of the bandwidth of your internet connection is going to be used up by Stadia, by the video broadcasted to your device. And in a multiplayer, like if you know what a ping is in a multiplayer game, it's basically the degree of connection quality between your machine and the server running the game, or your machine and other players. And depending on this connection quality, you'll have certain effect in games where like people are just jumping around on the screen. You're like in a first-person shooter, not going to be hitting them as well as if they were running from A to B instead of lagging from A to B, where they're like be stuttering. So this is a big question. You'll definitely have to have a pretty sizable broadband internet connection with a low ping. It doesn't have like it needs to be broadband, but then again, it also needs to be very low latency. Just because you have a fat tube, I don't think it's enough for you to be having a immediate or lag-free, like input lag-free fidelity or way of gaming. That's really like what I want to see before I would be subscribing to a service like Stadia at all. I did use the PlayStation Plus subscription just because I was playing Destiny and Destiny 2. And what PlayStation Plus does for you is it unlocks the multiplayer over internet service from Sony, basically. And then it also gives you this PlayStation Plus on top, where you'll save on stuff that you buy in the Sony store, but you'll also got for different platforms, you got different games. I think it was 2 per platform back then, if I recall correctly. Like you would get 2 games ish. Don't quote me on that. You would get access to games, and it would be a different game every month for all the different platforms. So if you have a PS Vita, or had a PS Vita, and you had a PlayStation 3 and a PlayStation 4, you would get a different game of all 3 of these different platforms. And as long as you keep playing PlayStation Plus, you would be able to keep playing these games. If you stop the subscription, you will lose access. You won't lose your save games or anything, because these games would just install on your PlayStation as if you had bought them on GameStop or something. But you would not be able to start the game on your console anymore unless you would be resubscribing, I guess, to the PlayStation Plus service should you have lapsed one payment or cancel the service or whatever. Nintendo just recently added their online service, which is, I think, $10 a year or something like that. I don't have the actual number available to me, but that's the one that I'm subscribed to right now, just because it does the same thing as PS Plus and it's far cheaper with just $10. You get access to the Nintendo Online Play. You have this save data cloud backup thing, which is actually why I wanted to get it, because if you don't have a Switch, the Switch basically stores all your save games on a tiny micro SD card, and it also installs all the games on there, and you have like a bit of an internal memory. But basically the catastrophic scenario for you would be if you lose your Switch or drop it and it breaks, or any, like, maybe the little micro SD card breaks because it's old or whatever, it has a failure, your save games will be lost, basically. You would lose all the games you've downloaded. Well, I guess you can re-download those, but you will lose all the screenshots you made in the game. You would lose all your progress in any game you ever played. And there's really no way outside of this service to back up your saves other than removing this SD card on a regular basis from the Switch and copying it somewhere. Like you would have to have a computer or some sort of backup for your micro SD card where you can just copy the content of the SD card onto some like safe place. You could put it in your Google Drive or something. But that's obviously it's a crutch. Like who does that? Who remembers on a regular basis to remove the SD card from their Switch and save all the files that's on there? That's like cumbersome. Like nobody wants to do that. So that's for me the main reason. You'll see it. 12 months, $20, or for family it's $35. So it's not $10, it's $20. But it's like for a whole year, it's not $20 monthly. And you get the safe data call. That's the key feature for me that I wanted to have this for on my Switch, because like I don't know. Game consoles break. It wouldn't be the first time that I had a console broken or like a storage medium going just kaput. And I don't know about you guys, but if I made significant progress in a video game and then all of a sudden through some catastrophic event I would have to start over, I don't. I would just sell the game used on GameStop and be done with it. I don't think I had the time and the motivation to just do it all again. I don't know. It might be weird like that, but yeah, I'd rather hold on to my safe games. So I had PS Plus at some point, but not for the games. I do have the Nintendo Online, but not for the games. I don't have Origin. What did I call it? Origin Access? I keep forgetting. I don't have any of the EA or Xbox Live or whatever game services that are out there. I don't know. I might be old school, but I'll just go to GameStop and buy my games or download them on Steam, or like why like the whole thing with subscription that like in general that bugs me is that you're paying on a regular basis, and granted you might be getting a deal if you pay like 12 months in advance as opposed to monthly or every other month or whatever, but still you would be paying, and then the subscription would renew automatically. And let's say you're on a vacation, like I don't know, unless you have I guess with Stadia that would be different, but so far none of the subscription services you would be mobile. Like you would have to have your games with you on like some sort of, unless you log into a friend's PlayStation, I guess. Like you don't take your PlayStation with you on vacation, right? Like no. Like you wouldn't be using it for that couple of weeks. Like say you're doing on a 2 weeks vacation somewhere in Europe, like you're definitely not going to take your PlayStation with you. And you would just be paying for not using the service. Like I don't think that's a smart thing to do. And then there's not really an easy way to cancel the subscription for that period and then just resume it after you're back. Like the expectation is that you keep paying this as long as you want to use it, and then if you don't want to use it anymore, you stop. And it's not really like, oh, do you want to use it this month, or do you want to use it the next month, or do you not want to use it next month, or do you only want to use it in December when it's Christmas and you're like at home anyways, or it's holidays or vacation? I don't know. It's just and these things that add up, right? Like so, say for example, you're like paying $50 for your PlayStation Plus already, and that's like $50 a year. Now let's find out what was that Origin ones for there. It's $5 a month or $30 a year for basic, and then it's $15 a month or $100 a year for the Premier service. So, and then you need an internet connection from a provider that's reliable, that gives you like high-speed bandwidth to download all this stuff and play it if you want to do multiplayer. if you don't want to do multiplayer, you basically don't need that fast of an internet connection if you can wait for your games to come down. But then again, who wants to wait these days? All of that adds up. And like, how many of these games are you realistically playing? Like, you have, like, say for example, you have access to a catalog of 1,000 games. You're not going to be playing all of the 1,000 games ever. Like, there's just no way. I guess you would be able to like get an idea of each of these games. Like, you can install them, playing for 5 minutes, and then if you don't like it, you just delete it and try something different. But then $100 a year for this service, $60 a year for that service. I don't know, what do you pay for your internet connection? $50 for that. It's like $200 a year. Like, that's at least 3 like major AAA titles that you would be buying across the year anyways. Where you just go to GameStop and get a deal for like anywhere between $50 and $60 for like a AAA title that's like, where you're basically not running the risk of having to give it back because you don't like it. And you just play them whenever you want to. There's like no like, like, stop paying the subscription because like there's a recurring payment. I'll take your game away from you. I know this whole subscription. And 2 years ago, or let's say starting 3 years ago, we had this whole fad with VR. Like, everything was VR. PC was VR. PlayStation was VR. Everything was VR. Your mobile phone was VR, and it's like, it didn't really get anywhere, right? Like, yeah, we do have VR still, and I also have a VR headset here, but really, the amount of games that I have that I actually play on that VR headset, I can count on one hand. Just because for the lack of actual games I want to play on the headset. So I'm thinking, with these game subscription services, how many of the games that are available in that catalog do you actually want to play? And then you still have the problem that you're subscribed to, say you're subscribed to Origin Access or the EA equivalent or whatever. I don't want to really make like shortchange any of the other services here, but these are just the ones that I'm coming into my top of my head. Like, say for example, you're subscribed to any of these services, right? And now the next AAA title that you want to play, just imagine you're playing Apex Legends right now, and you can play it, and you play Anthem, and you like both games, and they're both available on Origin Access. Actually, let's check out what games are available. It's Anthem, Darksiders, Battlefield, FIFA. Okay, so maybe you're playing 3 or 4 of these games on a regular basis. But then a company like Epic, which is not Origin, obviously, they'll do like the next blockbuster, like Fortnite 2 or whatever, or Destiny 3 or whatever, something that you're super interested in, or Red Dead Redemption 3 is released all of a sudden. Well, then it probably won't be available in Origin Access. So you're paying for the subscription, but then you can't play the game you want to play, and you still have to buy it. So you're now $100 in the hole a year for Origin Access, and you still can't play the game you want to play. So those costs add up. On top of that, like, all of that doesn't really make much sense to me. So I guess to make my point, long story short, I don't like game subscription services. None of the offers I've seen so far are anything that I would be interested in. And please leave your comments if you're subscribed to any of these services and how often you use them in the video or below the video or wherever the comment box is on this on the platform. But this could be just like VR, in that, yeah, it will be around for the next 3 years, but nobody's going to really use it. Like, unless there's really 1 or 2 platforms that add something on top of just giving you access to a game library or a set of games that you might be interested in. versus something like maybe Stadia from Google. I don't know which teams they partner with, but can you only play PC games on Stadia, or will they include like PlayStation games at some point or whatever? Like, you don't know. And with your physical game copy, you always have the thing like you can play it offline, even if your internet connection breaks down, right? You can still play it. Red Dead Redemption is great, great story. You can play it without an internet connection. You just need like a TV, a PlayStation, and like power, I guess. You don't rely on your internet connection. You don't need to like be on the phone with Cox constantly, like because your internet sucks or AT&T is borking your like session, and now your game streaming service like Stadia doesn't run because all of a sudden your internet doesn't work. Like all of this in theory sounds really nice, but there's like so many things that can still go wrong, and I bet you they will go wrong at some point, and most likely when you least expect it, as things do these days. This is not, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to have all this. I don't want to have all these issues just because I want to play video games. All of this sounds nice, but it just sounds nice. I have yet to see a service realized that I actually want to use for gaming, not for cloud backups of my save games or getting access to actual multiplayer like on PlayStation or Xbox Live with the gold membership. Where the main reason of these subscriptions is not the actual game. Amazon has, I guess Amazon has something similar with their like Prime package, and if they don't, they will probably be adding something like that really soon. Just to add one more thing to Amazon Prime, I guess. Anyways, I rambled on for far too long, I think. I hope this stream found you well. Please leave a comment and make sure to follow. Next time, actually, we could switch to some... I don't know, it's late. We're playing some Apex Legends tomorrow again. I'm still working on my streaming setup. I currently use this Streamlabs OBS that I'm trying to figure out all the settings with. As you can see on this side, I found out how to add a second camera there, so you'll have the camera that's up there, that's the webcam, and then the second cam is in the room next door where you can see my 3D printer. So still working out on things and how to do stuff. But yeah. Video game subscription services. Not for me, maybe for you. That's it. Bye. See you next time.